Welcome to the Explosive Podcast with Jake Binion. Today's episode, we're going to talk about the psychology of training people. Don't cheat your training and be a real trainer. So, first off, we're going to talk about the psychology of training people. This is becoming more and more relevant as time goes on. I can try to see and understand how to help people get their reps. Like a kid the other day said, Jared, you just study these programming things? Oh, I studied numbers. Everybody's got their own individual pattern and how they adapt to a stress. How they respond to bench press may be different from point A to point B or from person A to person B. And so you have to look at this training, then you gotta give these people the numbers. So workout threes based off of what 1 and 2 go, like 4s, 1, 2, and 3, and so forth and so on. Then I can tell if these people are going to get their numbers or they're not going to get their numbers. And you're always on the verge of making or missing your numbers. And sets of 5 is the hardest thing to do at the gym. It's not we work up to a heavy one set of 5 and back off. Once we do a set of 5, we may do 4 or 5 sets of 5 at a constant heavy load. And the thing is we're resting anywhere between 5 and 6.5 minutes for the strong people. The kids can get away with 2, maybe to 3.5. It just really depends on the person. So the gym's kind of like an organized chaos. You got people everywhere. You got people, they have different rest breaks because we're trying to adapt the system to them or let them figure out where their sweet spot is for their rest so that they're making the reps. Now, the thing about the psychology of getting your reps, like you get to have a person come in and they bang out all 4 sets of 5. Usually the guys are a lot more aggressive than the females, but sometimes the guys have a hard time thinking about it. Like I was working with a guy the other day, he had 4 sets of 5 at 275 or somewhere around there. And he got a 4 on his first set. And I said, that's impossible. Absolutely impossible. He said, no, Jared, it's heavy. I said, you got to learn how to attack the weight. Your first 3 reps will be kind of cruising. And your 4th rep's gonna be a grind, and your 5th rep's gonna be an absolute grinding max to where you may be on the verge of making it, or you may be on the verge of missing it. And he missed it because he did not attack his first 3. And several months ago at the gym, I did an experiment when I showed kids, you're under a time clock when you're under a certain load of weight. So your time clock may be 20, 25, or 30 seconds. Wherever that time is, you gotta get your reps before that time runs out. So if you turn an hourglass upside down and the hourglass lasts 15 seconds, you better get those reps in that 15 seconds or you're gonna make it all the way to the end of your rep scheme. So my experiment was I took 315. I warmed up with 315 and I did a nice, very controlled set of 6. And my 6th rep was a grinder. It was, geez, I barely got it. And I was just did it nice and easy. I wasn't trying to bang them out or anything else. And I rested about 7, 8 minutes. And I told the guys, look, I'm gonna get 11 reps with 315 in the same amount of time as I did with 315 at 6 reps. So I think it ended up 16 seconds is what I did 315 for 6 reps with. So the 16 seconds at 315, I said, I'll get 11 reps in 15 seconds. They said, no way, Jared, that's not even possible. Okay, so after my rest break, what I did is I lay down and I did 315. I just, boom, banged them out, kind of like you see in the NFL combine, almost like a sewing machine. And by the time I got to rep 11, I'm at my 10th rep, I held it at the top for a little bit because, damn, in my mind, I thought I was going about a rep per second. And so I held it at the top trying to manipulate or kind of almost cheat the study, if you don't mind me saying. And I held it at the top, then I came down, and then I pushed up, and the speed on the way up was the exact same speed as the number 6 rep was prior to that set. And I ended up getting 315, 11 reps in 18 seconds. I was 2 seconds off. If I would not have held it at the end, I probably would have, before I did my 11th, if I wouldn't have held it before I did my 11th rep, I would have probably been 16 seconds at 11. I probably would have done 315 at 6 reps in 16 seconds. If I would not have held it, I would have done 11 reps in 16 seconds. But I kind of let your mind go to you because you're trying to prove a point to these kids where you're up under, you're against time, so to speak. And so they said, how's that possible? I said, you have to attack the load. You've got to be aggressive. And so this kid, I said, you've got to attack your first 3. You got to know 4 is going to be hard, and you got to know the 5th rep's going to be like your max. And so he ended up, the next set, he got 5. Well, the next set, he got 5. So he did 4 sets of 5 at 275, ended up going 4, 5, 5, and 5. So he ended up getting his reps, but he had to learn how to think about it. Now, I've got this girl that's been coming to the gym for a while. You may have seen her, or I repost her stories or whatever, because she was about 140 pounds, and now she's about 122 pounds. So we're about 18 pounds down in body weight, but her front squat has gone from 85 pounds to 205 pounds. So we went down a weight and up, and it's all about talking to her. Look, just like I mentioned before, that guy, when you're doing sets of 5, your last rep is going to feel like a physical max, but you have to rest long enough to let your energy stores come back so that you can repeat that set. And that's where the brief maximum tension method comes in, is that these people just want to do max effort, max effort, max effort. Well, if you don't have the training age, which means how many years have you been training? If you're 20 and you've been training for 10 years, your training age is 10. If you are 10 years old and you're 30 and you've been training since you were 10, your training age is 20. So you're a little bit more mature in the training field than a lot of other people are. That's why I got so many freaks that if I got a kid that comes to me in between the ages of 8 and 10, and if they stick with the gym, they'll be the most physically strong people in the entire school. They'll, relative to their body weight and maximally. So like Colton years ago, he was 210 pounds with a 450 pound bench. Just like I had this kid named Zach Seymour, he deadlifted 600 at 195 pound body weight in high school. And both of these kids had over a 40 something inch vertical. And they were both lean with abs. So, and Zach, I don't know if he benched 365, Zach, maybe 385, somewhere in that range. You know, so you got super strong kids, super athletic, and they both had college scholarship offers. So what I'm saying is the younger they get started at the gym, the greater their training age is by the time they get out of high school, because usually I'm limited between elementary, middle, and high school. If I get them in high school, I may not have that much time to really put an adaptive system to them, because a lot of the high schools around here, they only have 30 to 40 minutes with them in the weight room. With 30 to 40 minutes with a kid in the weight room, that's not enough to push his physical limitations. You may can get them a good workout. You may get them a hypertrophy workout. You may be able to get them a little bit better shape, and so to speak, make team bonding. But that's not good enough to have a physical freak on the field. Like if some kid's going to Georgia, Alabama, Clemson, or whatever, those guys are recruiting the physical freak. There are physical freaks out there, and there's people like me that are not physically gifted, that I had to work for everything that I got to display that same strength that the physically gifted person that did not have to work did. So I'm always trying to catch people. I was always trying, you go to a powerlifting competition, you think you're strong, then all of a sudden everybody else in the strong community comes in and says, like, holy shit, we're not as good as we thought. And then you go back to the drawing board and you learn how to get stronger. And with that, you know, if you got 30 to 40 minutes in a high school weight room, you don't have time to get the kids that 5 to 6.5 minute rest break they want to. So if they're resting every 5 minutes, so if they start their warm up, say at 320, and then they just depends. They don't really give them a lot of time to warm up in school anyway. So yesterday I started my bench workout 320, and I was done at 4 o'clock. It took me 40 minutes to warm up and bench. I'm a little bit stronger than a lot of other people, but I was only resting. Yesterday was more of a lighter day for me, so I was only resting 5 minutes between my sets. Now my sweet spot rest period is about 6.5 minutes. So if I were to time that out yesterday, at 6.5 minutes between my sets, it probably would have taken me about 45 minutes or so just to freaking bench, not even including going to, if I got my triceps, I got a program, if I got my incline, whatever else I have to do down the line, is you have to give these kids enough rest in order to increase that strength at the maximum potential. So with the sets of 5, and me getting off that tangent about the training age, is when you're doing sets of 5 and you have a low training age, those first 3 reps are your fatiguing reps. They have to it's heavy enough that all the motor neurons and everything's got a fire optimal discharge frequency. So those 3 reps are pretty heavy, but they're smooth. You can get them. 4's to grind, and the 5th one's I'm either making it or missing. It's kind of like doing a max effort, either making the rep or you're missing the rep. So, and with enough rest break, if you got a 6.5 minute rest break, you can have done 5 sets of one, so to speak, on that maximum effort grind on the verge of making it or missing it. Now, if you shorten the rest period, say to 3 minutes, they may get 5 reps on the first set, they may get 3 on the second, they may get 2 on the third, and they may get 2 on the last one. So you have left reps in the tank. And I didn't learn this till later on. There are actually books out there. If you're lifting at 90% up or above, you need 5 to 8 minutes between. I was like, damn, no one ever taught us that in school. I guess because we would have been combative to our coaches. But you have to rest long enough in order to where you can repeat that high effort over and over and over again. And sometimes you got to learn how to think about it. If I know those first 3 are going to be smooth, me bang those out, dial in, focus on 4, get my breath, take a couple rests. Here's a max, like you would treat it like you would do it a max. So that's what I got to say about the psychology of training people. Sometimes I show these kids, or I tell the kids what they have next time when they come. If workout 3, Jared, what am I going to do next time? Let me see your folder. I don't just make up numbers. And I said, I got to see your folder. Hey, Jared, what I need to do on this? I need to see your folder. If you've ever been in the gym, these kids, Jared, let me see your folder. I got to see your folder so I can look at you and tell you what to do. Because if I just make up something off the top of my head, that's telling you something to do, but it's not getting you where you want to go. I truly care about helping these kids get from point A to point B. That's why the gym's organized chaos. Everybody's everywhere because everybody's got their own specific rest period. Everybody may have to do this in order to progress this. Like some kids, close grip floor press with chains. Some kids do incline. And if I ran it as a class, we would not be so successful. So hopefully that helps some of you out there thinking about how to kind of attack some things and whatnot in that nature. So next thing is don't cheat your training. And where I got this from, I was walking next door to my 24-hour gym, checking on it, make sure it's got toilet paper, paper towels, and trash that may be taken out or something. And I saw this kid. He was benching, and he had 2 bands wrapped around the bench to where it gave him a better grip. And I told him, that's horrible. You don't want to do that. He said, well, I keep sliding. I said, that's good that you keep sliding, because the bench that you're actually on is actually a good bench. Maybe a little bit, these over here, you can actually not slide as much, but you need to try to make your training harder than what it would be in competition. Because by you sticking that rubber on that bench and you go to set up in your arch and you're able to get these loads in the gym, if you go to competition and you don't have that same grip on that pad, some of these benches have been used in competitions for 10 plus years. And if you get a crappy bench that's don't have as much gripper in the gripper pad left, and you've been using bands to set up your arch, you're going to be in trouble. You could bomb out. So if you set a state record or American record in squat, you get to your bench and you miss all 3 of your benches, your squat don't count now. Then you're just freaking empty meat and wasting all that money and going and didn't learn anything. Now the bands, this kid's got a meet coming up in a few weeks, because I started talking to him trying to figure things out. Like, why in the hell? Well, my trainer told me to use them. His trainer's another high school kid. Think about how much I've learned in the last 15 years of having the gym. How much I've learned about training. How much I've learned even about the psychology of training people now. I've had the gym 15 and a half years. It takes steps, time, and maturity and training thousands of people that have come through that gym. You start to learn people, and there's no way a high school kid's going to have the same knowledge or experience that I do. And so this other kid's getting trained. I just shook my head. I said, okay, if you did not have a powerlifting meet come up, then training with the bands on the bench may not be a bad idea, because it actually help you learn how to arch. But once you have, or not even learn how to arch, help you create the flexibility for you to have a better arch. So once you have the flexibility to have that arch, now you can go practice on the most shitty bench around. And by you practicing on that bench and you're sliding on that bench because you can't hold your arch, once you're able to hold your arch on a slick bench, then you go to competition or wherever, and you'll be able to bench the same, if not more, in competition. Years ago, I've learned through experience. Some of you that listen to this podcast for a while probably have heard the story, is that I used to bench on a bench and had a 2-inch pad. The thicker the pad, like a Thompson fat pad or a Forza pad or some type of pad on the bench, the thicker the pad, the easier it is to hold a higher arch. And so when I went to one of my first USAPO meets, because I've gone to meets before that had Forza bench, so I didn't think anything or know any different about any of the benches. The thicker the pad, the easier it is to hold the arch. The thinner the pad, the harder it is to hold the arch. And so I went to competition. I was repping 405 for sets 3 in the gym. I go to competition, and I had people, it was a national bench competition. I was expecting to bench 440 to 450 range. And so I had people drive up to Atlanta, who was going to watch me bench this competition, and I got 5th place. I was like, oh, gee, I just got my ass handed to me. I came out with a 376-pound bench. I was so mad at myself. I benched 365 my freshman year of freaking college, and to come out with a competition with a 376 bench, I was pissed. And so I went back to gym. I worked on trying to keep my butt down, keep my arch, but I went back to the same bench. I went to the competition, the next available competition, and I came out and I got a 396 bench. Better, but still, I'm still repping 400 plus pounds in the gym, and I'm still not getting a official 400-pound bench. And so I was so frustrated with myself. And so after that meet, I went and marked all the bench. I wanted the same height bench. So I was going around the gym and find a bench the same height. And I wanted to find a bench that the first time when they lift the bar up to you on a thinner padded bench, your arch kind of falls because you're not really sunk into that pad. You know, you're on the same surface. Because with a thicker pad, you can kind of sink into it more, which gives you a false sense of having a higher arch. And so I found out which bench did this to me, which bench. And so I started training on that bench. And the most I hit in the gym that day, or on that bench prior to competition, was 420. That's the most I could do. So now I go to a competition, and I come out of that bench with a 429, 430 bench. I was 10 pounds stronger in competition than I was at the gym. And thus, it does not matter how strong you are at the gym. You got these people lifting with belts, knee sleeves. You got these powerlifting people who want to go next door, 24-hour gym, and want to be powerlifters. Go powerlifting, lifting heavy ass weight. Who's the strongest one at the competition? Why are you going to go to a gym or look like a powerlifter with knee sleeves, belt, and wrist straps and everything else to go to competition and get your ass kicked? You use your gear, your belt, your knee sleeves, and your wrist straps at competition. While you're in training, you train as bare bone as you can. If you're wearing wrist brace, if you're wearing wrist straps, if you're wearing a belt, knee sleeves, that stuff is helping you brace, is bracing for you. So what you're actually doing is actually destroying your natural brace. And so if you were to get out in a car wreck, these athletes play football, and they get a hit, and they've been used to wearing a belt in the gym, their force absorption on the field is actually lessened because of the bracing that they've been using. They've been using a false sense of break. If you got people that wear ankle braces all the time, they have a higher chance of twisting and rolling over there on their ankle because their ankle don't have the brace because the brace is doing it for them. So if something else is bracing for you, your body's not naturally bracing itself. And so I try to tell the kid, once you have a developed arch, learn how to use that arch on the slickest part of the bench you can. That way when you go to competition, you don't bomb out. You lift actually more in competition than you do in gym. There's no point in benching like I was a lot more in the gym than you go to competition and you don't even get anything recorded on paper to what you were doing. So hopefully that helped him. And I went and checked on him the other day. I got a camera system where I could look over at my 24-hour gym. I couldn't quite see, so I sent someone else over there. Hey, go look around, act like you're looking for something, then come back. That way just let me know. The reason I want you to do that is I want you to see if this kid right here, showed her a picture of the guy on the monitor, see if he's got bands on the bench. Because I know his competition's coming up, and I told him, and I told him, so I don't want to go over there, be snooping around that way and let him directly see if he's listening or not. So anyway, hopefully that helps some of y'all. And the last part, be a real trainer. I honestly want to help everybody that comes into the gym. I want to show them that they can be better than what they are. I want to show them how strong they can be. I want that person to succeed. I'm working with a professional baseball player right now. I said, I want you to succeed probably more than you yourself want you to succeed. I want to show you that you can get better. I want to show you their miles per hour can get higher. I want to show you them create greater flexibility in your stride of your pitch. I want to show you that you can get better. And I've had people like, a lot of places around me, they'll get this group of people in, they may have them in and out for 45 minutes or an hour, whatever their schedule is. I don't really know, but I know there are some places around me that they're in and out 45 minutes, they're in and out an hour. It's almost like going to high school. They may be conditioned to be bam, bam, bam. That's called turnover. That's called being a business and not being in the business of helping people. You got a business, you're trying to get them in, you're trying to get them out. I get them in, I don't give a shit how long they stay. I got kids that are there 2.5 hours. I want to help them work on whatever it takes that they want to be successful at. Look, I want you to run faster. I want you to jump higher. And I want you to bench a lot. And so benching is correlated with swing speed, whether it's lacrosse, whether it's baseball, whether it's softball. I got a softball girl. If you increase your bench, you'll start hitting home runs. Well, we go from 105, 110 bench to 135 bench. I get a text message, Jared, I just hit a home run. I said, I told you. And now she's been coming during the season, wanting to do a combo day on Saturday and Sunday because she don't want to lose her strength, because she keeps doing this stuff. And that's why I want to show you, if you do this, you'll get the results you want. Although the bench press does not look like a golf swing speed, does not look like a softball swing speed, does not look like swing speed, whatever, does not look like a golf swing, does not look like a softball swing or a baseball swing. For some reason, it's correlated. If I increase your bench, just like with the lacrosse team, if I increase their bench, the girl with the lowest bench on the team also threw the lacrosse ball the slowest on the team. The girl who benched the most also threw the ball the fastest. This kid that's coming to the gym, he plays baseball. His swing speed's already going up 10 miles an hour in 3.5 months. I don't know why, I just know it works. So if you want someone to, and I had a dad in softball, Jared, she's killing the ball now. Okay, thanks, I'm glad it's working. If you stick with it, it's going to get even better. So, and I'm not pushing them out, because like I said earlier in the podcast, I've got people that have to have their own specific rest breaks. If I'm trying to roll them in and out like a class and get them in and out, I'm not helping that person to be the best that person can be. It may be a little bit more chaotic on me and my brain to handle it. Jared, you got ADD. Yeah, well, I got 30 other kids asking me the same damn question at different times. Jared, hey, Jared, can you spot me? Hey, can you spot me? All right, I got to spot him, and then her, and I'll get to you. There are so many other people. Why'd you walk halfway across the gym to get you to spot me? I said, I'm overqualified to spot you. You're benching 95 pounds. Get someone else to spot you. And it's not systematic. We do start on top of an hour. So if you're supposed to be there at 5 o'clock, you come in at 5. You may not leave till 7. I don't have a kid scheduled on Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, or Thursday. They may come Monday. If they don't come Wednesday, they come Thursday. And if they're supposed to come twice a week, they come a Monday and a Wednesday one week. Next week, they come a Tuesday and a Saturday. Next week, they come a Thursday and a Sunday. I don't care as long as they get their days in. I don't schedule it. I got a system of folders. Supposed to put the folder in the day they're supposed to be there. If they don't, I put it in a place called SlackerStack so I can find the folder system a lot better. And I handwrite all the workouts because I got to look at their numbers and see what they did last time. I don't use any apps because my brain's a lot smarter than their computer when it comes to writing these numbers and figuring out the systems. There's not been anything out there that can adapt as quickly as I can when I'm handwriting it, and I may go bump the system. Okay, this kid's getting his reps. What happens if I move him up 10 pounds? Oh, damn, he got his reps. He's not supposed to do that. Then I start switching and moving higher. Or I do that. Oh, he missed reps. Well, Jared, I missed my reps today. Yeah, I had you pegged about 5 pounds heavier than you should be, but I just wanted to see if you can handle it. Obviously, you see what the result is. We'll just stick with the plan and go from point A to point B. So don't push your kids in and out if you have time. If you got time, don't worry about the next group. Everybody will adapt and hang out and be friends together. So I know some of you guys are high school coaches. You can't help it. You got to kind of run. The biggest thing you need to do is get your bench, your squat, and your jumps out the way. Then all the accessories will take care of themselves later on. So for your gym owners, take care of your people. Don't try to get them in and try to get them out in a hurry. I got people that come to visit the gym and they see what I'm talking about. It works, maybe chaotic on me. I don't have other interns or whatnot running around helping. I try to put it all in my hands. I want to try to, the more I put in my hands, the more I learn from it. So anyway, I hope y'all enjoy this. If you have questions, feel free to email me at info@explosivemechanics. You can send me a message on Instagram or whatnot, what have you. So anyway, thank y'all for watching. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.